I think I joined in March, and I'd done a good bit of personal development leading up to that. Just kind of got blindsided by this breakup, and I was just in the shit, just kind of struggling a little bit. I've been a single mother for several years and juggling to kind of keep all the balls in the air. It's yeah, I just need a little assistance here. And I saw some of your videos and they really spoke to me, and I felt inspired, and so I reached out.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another opportunity for me to share with you someone who's taken action, invested in themselves. This is a success story on the Luke Mind Power podcast. I want to introduce to you Sarah Stowers. Welcome, Sarah, to the Luke Mind Power podcast.
Thank you so much, Luke. Appreciate you having me here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited to spend some time with you because you've completely transformed your life. You just came out of nowhere and you were just like, hey, man, whatever you're doing, I want to know. I'm ready for taking action. I'm ready to change my life. So tell us a bit about a backstory of kind of where you were at before you started the Superpower Mastermind program with us, and how the journey's been for you so far.
Yeah. I think I joined in March. And I'd done a good bit of personal development leading up to that. But I sort of just kind of got blindsided by this breakup, and I was just in the shit, and just kind of struggling a little bit. I've been a single mother for several years and juggling to kind of keep all the balls in the air. And I was yeah, I just need a little assistance here. And I saw some of your videos and they really spoke to me, and I felt inspired. And so I reached out. And yeah, I mean, little by little, just started layering in work that had sort of, slipped through the cracks before, things that, leaves that I hadn't turned over and looked under. I started finding different little pockets of trauma and things from childhood and different things to work on. And just slowly but surely, building confidence, growing, picking my pace up, and, before you knew it, I was just feeling so good, and, yeah, I mean, it really has transformed my life. And I think there's some different elements of this program, that really were really useful for me, and I continue to use them today. So yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things, but that's sort of the backstory on where I was at in that particular moment.
Yeah. You know what? I feel you with the relationship stuff because a lot of my pain was from relationships. A lot of my motivation also was from not feeling lovable, was from rejection, was from, as I would call them, failures, for example, a failed relationship, a relationship that I tried to make work, or I tried to love them and I tried to give as much of myself so that I could prove that I was worthy of their attention and their love. And then I was just rejected and left by myself, And so a lot of that pain has been transmuted in how I show up on my podcast. And it's no, I'm not going to let someone define or decide how I should think and feel about myself. So not sure if the circumstances are kind of similar to yours, but you also mentioned that you had already kind of delved into personal development and working on yourself. How do you feel that the Superpower Mastermind, obviously working with myself and our team and the community and the coaching, how has this been different, or has this kind of just kind of come in and giving you maybe more accountability? What was it that has been what you needed?
I mean, I think the thing, going back to what you're talking about rejection, was a consistent theme through my life, starting all the way back from childhood. And I had manifested all of this repeated rejection over and over and over and over again. Where I was starting to get a complex about it. I'm what the hell? I think I'm a pretty good catch. I don't understand. And what I came to realize with the program was that it's because I had rejected myself, and I did not realize that, and once I started to love myself and stop looking to others, external validation, oh, this person said you're awesome, so now you're awesome, but no, I said that I was awesome, I validate myself now. I love myself. And then the looking in the mirror every day, and it's this is what I'm proud of, this is what I'm letting go of. This is where I'm committed to going in the future. And all of that stuff started to just really resonate. And that was the first time in my life that I had done that, and that I could actually go back with the conscious reparenting and go to those moments where I felt rejected, where I felt like I was not seen or heard or abandoned, and come back in and just like really love the shit out of little Sarah, you know? And when I did that, like everything just kind of started to fall into place, you know? And I became like a magnet for all of these things that I wanted, that I had like repelled because like I was rejecting myself. So I was putting that energy out, you know. Once I stopped doing that, I started putting the energy in, like everything just started to fall into place, you know? And that was like the secret sauce, you know?
Sarah, you have done the work. I can hear it. I can hear it. And it's crazy because like what you're saying, like you took me back to 2016, 17, like when I was like, you know, using cocaine, and I was, you know, trying to attract a healthy relationship, or the relationship I wanted didn't want me. And one of the reasons why, like exactly what you said, it was the fear of losing them. And it was also the fact that, like you said, I was rejecting myself. So I didn't have any self-worth in me. I didn't have any self-love either. So my level of self-esteem was so low that I became needy. I was living in this state of fear that I have to continue to like prove myself to people for them to love me. And that was also very, very overbearing and too much for some of these people that I was trying to be in relationships with, which wasn't creating confidence for them. It was showing them that like, man, this person just like doesn't stop. Like they're just like constantly like obsessive, you know, in a sense, in some ways. But yeah, and we talk about this in the program as well, is that you attract what you fear. Whatever you're afraid of is basically what you're manifesting. And that also is part of your programming of how you're thinking. So if you're afraid of something constantly, well, then you're thinking it. And as what Earl Nightingale says, you become what you think about. So the fact that you've shifted that whole thing around now in learning to love yourself and validate yourself, and know your worth, your whole reality changes. You know, so you mentioned a few things that have changed or that you've attracted into your life. Tell us, what are some of the things that have changed or that you have attracted since doing this work now? How has your life changed?
I mean, yeah, I know it's going to sound like crazy, but like I do feel like I'm living the life of my dreams at this point, you know?
That's
and
nice.
but the relationship that blindsided me, she ended up coming back, you know, and we kind of were back and forth a little bit through the summer, but every time she came back, she would find me stronger than when she left me, you know? And she's like, well, I'm in the shit, you know, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm working on myself, you know? And so, yeah, she started to work on herself, and she's like, she calls me our fearless leader, you know, and she started to like do her work, and we've come back together. She's getting ready to move in with her daughter. So that has fallen back into place.
She was inspired by your change and how you were showing up for yourself.
Exactly. So inspired her, like I was inspired. She was inspired. Now we're inspired together. We're doing the work together. That feels amazing. To have a partner who's like, you know, willing to dig in and rise with me. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm working my dream job. I get to show up every day for people and try to help them along their healing journey. I'm an acupuncturist. And so, yeah, that's amazing. My little girl, she's 10 years old. She's thriving. She's into everything. I mean, she's just such a beautiful soul. So literally, I just have all of these blessings in my life, and everything just feels like it's like coming together. And so I'm in a good place.
Man. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy for you. Like, congratulations, because I know for one thing that a lot of people do the work because they've come out of or are still in very unhealthy relationships. And when you start to do this work, you become very aware of what you're tolerating, what you're allowing, what is unhealthy. You do start to learn to love yourself, which raises your vibration, which makes you become aware of like, what are the things that are draining me? What's bringing me down? You know, and a lot of toxic relationships or unhealthy relationships do that. So it's really, really nice and beautiful to hear that your circumstances are not of separation, but of inspiration, where your partner has witnessed or felt the growth that you have become, the person that you've become, someone new, this new version of yourself, and has also, and that's what we were talking about actually today on our coaching session. We were like, how do I deal with, I want to help people, but people aren't able to kind of receive the knowledge or what I'm trying to share because they're not ready. And that's what I've had to learn, is that not everybody's ready to grow when you're ready to grow, and heal when you're ready to heal. And it's kind of like a bit of a solitude kind of journey. So what do we do? How do we deal with that? We want to help people, but we also have to be reminded that we have to help ourselves first. We have to save ourselves first. And so it sounds like this is exactly what you've done. You've saved yourself, and at the same time, you've inspired your partner to like make changes and to also look at herself. So my question to you now is, because I know that in relationships, this is what I did, Sarah. I decided from 2018, no more relationships. I'm really just want to focus on myself. And, you know, I've been working with thousands of people since I've started doing this work. And I know that relationships also are a massive opportunity for more healing. So I'm curious, because your level of self-awareness has shifted so much and you've changed so much, I'm very, very aware of how much a relationship can also add value to your growth and to your healing journey. So I'm curious, have there been moments now where maybe you've been triggered, or maybe you've triggered your partner, maybe she's been triggered, and you are having to now do confrontations or communicate to be able to help each other understand each other, or to set boundaries, or to speak your truth? Because, you know, this is the whole challenge of relationships, that a lot of people do not communicate their emotions or feelings.
Yeah, totally. And I think, you know, this past time that we have come back together, we were aware that we're totally different people. I mean, we have a lot of commonality, you know, but we operate differently. And so we sat down and wrote like 3 pages of relationship goals, of non-negotiables, you know, boundaries, like. And then we looked at it, you know, I mean, when she is triggered or something's going on in her life, she wants a lot of time and space and quiet. And I'm the opposite. I'm more of like the anxious attachment, you know, where I want my person, you know. So we had to make a plan. Like, how do we come together in these moments? How do we compromise? What does that look like? And so I think we've been more like conscious and intentional of like, you know, recognizing each other's strengths and weaknesses, and having a lot of understanding and empathy around that, you know. And now I can kind of watch it unfold and not be as triggered, you know, like, okay, this is what's happening, and this is, you know, what we need to do in that moment. And I think also, like, in the past, you know, I didn't set boundaries. Like, I would just like because I didn't have that level of self-worth, and I would just like kind of be quiet and take things on the chin and stuff, you know, which really, that obviously does not work. And I've had to set my boundaries and say, look, you know, this is what I need within the context of this relationship, and know that I'm going to be okay. Like, if she leaves or we break up or whatever, like, Sarah's going to be okay. Like, it's going to suck, it's going to hurt, and I think through setting those boundaries, you know, we have been able to kind of like circumvent what it was that, how they were being crossed, you know. And before, it was an impasse, and, you know, I was kind of laying down, and then when I stood up and said, okay, this is how it is, she was able to like then look at her mirror and be like, okay, this is an ego thing, you know, we can absolutely not go there, you know. And so that was like actually really beautiful to like stand up for myself and also have my partner just like honor that. So
yeah, well, yeah, thanks for sharing. There's so much value that you're sharing there, and I'm so happy that you've been able to actually create these opportunities in your relationship to actually communicate, but also to be able to like take the time to write stuff down. Like, that's called action. Like, if you want a relationship to work, there's some sort of investment or sacrifice that you need to make for it to actually grow. And that's when I hear you talking like that about your relationship, what are you really doing? You're saying, and both of you are making this commitment that we are serious about this. That's what you're doing. You're going, hey, I'm so serious about this that we need to write it down. It's not just a conversation. It's not something we're just going to forget about. It's actually like, no, let's write it down. And this is like where manifestation comes into play. This is where your goals become real, because you're actually taking the time to write stuff down, which I think is really powerful. But you mentioned anxious attachment, and I also feel like I'm kind of like that a little bit as well, because of the feelings of feeling neglected, abandoned, not feeling loved enough, feeling insecure, low self-esteem. For many years, a lot of the relationships I went through, so much rejection, bullying, being bullied, all of that through my whole life. I'm subconsciously programmed that way to feel the fear of someone leaving me, for example. When what you just said is, my partner, or she needs some. She's more like, when she's triggered, she needs space, she needs time, and then that also is the automatic response of like, our response is no, but we want to talk. Like, no, like I want to stay close. I want to, So have you been able to identify that in yourself, in knowing that, is there any sort of way that you can find some sort of security or your awareness to go, everything is okay. She still loves me, but I need to give her space. Like she's sure. Or is she able to understand your response and go, well, okay, she's going to give me the time. I just need to affirm to her that, hey, I love you. I'm not going anywhere. But because I think it's all about communication. If you can't communicate with your partner, well then, and that they're coming from that trauma place of like anxious attachment, for example, or rejection, then I think that as a healthy relationship, your partner should go, hang on, I know I need space. I love you, but please give me some time and let's talk in an hour or let's talk in 2 hours. Have you been able to work something like that out?
I mean, I think both of us have just been incredibly vulnerable with each other and saying, this is where I'm at. This is where this comes from. Here's my trauma and I'm going to lay it all out for you, and vice versa. And be vulnerable and like, yeah, this is how that makes me feel. And we've also just done a really great job of kind of communicating through that. I mean, I think absolutely the love is there. We know that we just love the shit out of each other, and so, yeah, we've been able to recognize these patterns, to be vulnerable, how it makes one another feel, and try to be really empathetic and kind of work with each other and compromise in it, and that's working out really well. So awesome. It's been it's been
That's
good.
Awesome. I know we kind of drifted off from the program, but I mean, I find relationships so interesting, and again, I'm also really intrigued with kind of where you've come from, how much you've grown, and now how you are bringing your relationship back together because you've done the work on yourself, which is so amazing. But just quickly before we finish up, Sarah, obviously we have 3 coaching sessions every single week. How much of an impact, or what have they done for you? Being able to join the live calls or watch the replays, for example, has that created accountability for you, motivation? Like, what has it been for you to be able to show up and be a part of that?
I mean, it's definitely created accountability and motivation. I think the only ones I'm really ever able to attend are the Sunday afternoon ones. Yep. And a lot of times you will just kind of roll through your weekend and get to Sunday and you're still chilling and going to the beach and hanging out and doing this, that, and the other. But just having that point of contact, and it's like, okay, let's talk about some goals. Let's get inspired from each other. Let's, talk about what it is that we're working on and where we want to go. And that point of contact on Sunday kind of helps set me up for success throughout the week, So, and, similarly throughout the week, like if I'm having, just a funky day, maybe it doesn't start out on the right foot, I'll throw on a podcast and it kind of takes my mind into a different space. Let's think about some other things, like let's shift gears and work on, whatever it is that we need to get out of the shit. And so that has been really useful for me.
Awesome, Sarah. Well, congratulations on all of your success. And it's not the end, but I'm very happy for you, and that this has been kind of a shift and change in your life. And I trust that this is not going to stop, and you're going to keep evolving, keep growing, keep working through stuff. Because I really believe as well, the healing journey is not a journey that just, you don't just heal yourself and all of a sudden it's done. I believe healing is a lifelong journey. But more so as you grow and evolve, you become more peaceful, you're more aware, you're more content within yourself. And I know that this is going to be a big part of your future as well. So I know that there's so much more for you to come, and I love your energy. And it's been such a blessing to witness your transformation and your success, doing the work and inside our community and our coaching space. So congratulations, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Luke. It really has been life-changing. I mean, it really, truly has changed my life. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity to spend time with you guys and to go through the program. And I plan to continue to do the work every single day. Like I don't think that the journey is ever over, and I'm just going to keep on track. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I've had fun on this podcast with you as well.
Same. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So guys, as you can see, another transformational journey, which obviously Sarah's still working through, the Superpower Mastermind, our coaching experience, which is about completely transforming your life and healing your trauma or your pain or your insecurities or your past, and helping you become a healthier version of yourself so that you can inspire others and as well attract healthy relationships into your life. So if you are interested in learning more about if and how we can possibly help you, all you need to do is send us a message on Instagram or Facebook, and just write the word evolve, and we'll give you some more information. And if you're ready for London, 2nd of November, click the link in the description below, because you'll be able to get your virtual live stream ticket or join us live in person for that event, because it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I can't wait to dance with you guys and help you to unlock your greatness in London on the 2nd of November. Until then, guys, have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys soon.